Welcome back to another episode of Creative Discipline with TheZachMichael. Today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why producers should release lo-fi instrumental music. Now today we're going to be covering lo-fi music specifically, but I do think this principle applies to any style of instrumental music. We're going to talk about lo-fi music because that's the first type of instrumental music that I started releasing in my career, and I feel like I have the most experience in this space. As a lo-fi artist myself, who's also a producer, I've released music under a ton of different artist projects like Sleeping Shark and Relaxed Vibes, which collectively have achieved millions of streams, and they've been a very lucrative part of my creative career as a music producer, both in immense freedom and control over my future, and also from a financial standpoint. I've been a part of major sync campaigns with this music, and it's given me a lot of opportunities, right? On top of that, I also run a lo-fi record label called Elizabeth Lo-Fi Records, where we accept demos from other musicians and we help them distribute and release and promote that music. And yeah, so let's get started on the 5 reasons why producers should release lo-fi instrumental music. The first one of why I like lo-fi music is that it's accessible to create, right? A lot of people feel like the music that they want to create is very difficult to make, and they are unable to make it. And don't get me wrong, lo-fi music definitely has the need to, develop it and have a good sound and have skills, and all these things are very important as a music producer to have. But what I like about lo-fi is that you don't need a lot of high-end gear or super elaborate setups to produce lo-fi. Now, you can get a ton of really expensive instruments and microphones and things like that, but a lot of the charm of lo-fi lies in the simplicity of using what you have, right? So you can really get started with releasing lo-fi instrumental music with, minimal instruments, maybe even just a MIDI keyboard, a DAW, and a few plugins, right? And you can also use your iPhone to record things and have that live feel without needing really expensive microphones and preamps and things that might be out of your budget, I think that's really huge. And I think a lot of people, when they think about releasing music, it's very expensive for them and they can't afford to. And I think with lo-fi music, it's very accessible to create, and it's something I love about this genre. I've created whole albums and whole bodies of work while I'm on vacations in other countries and at the beach for a week and things like that. And, I don't have my full studio setup that I usually have, but I'm still able to make these really incredible bodies of work and albums, and I'm really proud of that music. And I think creating lo-fi music allows me to do that. Whereas if I was creating cinematic orchestral music, it may be harder to do that without having the high-end gear, the elaborate setup, all of that stuff. Still possible, but I feel like it's a lot easier to create high-quality lo-fi music without a ton of equipment, whereas to create some other genres, it kind of requires a bit more equipment. But also, the thing I like about lo-fi music as well, from a building a business standpoint, is that there's a high demand for listeners, right? Listeners are always looking for lo-fi beats to listen to, whether it's, lo-fi to relax to, whether it's chill vibes or ambient music to relax to, etc. I think that demand is super important. One of my goals with releasing my own music is to be heard and to have financial freedom and creative control over my destiny as a music producer. And it's possible to achieve that in any genre. But for me, lo-fi happens to be the place where that's worked for me, right? There's a lot of people in the audience who are looking for it, and my music is able to connect with a lot of people through this genre. And the same goes for a lot of my collaborators and other people that I talk to. On top of that, another thing, or one of the reasons that I think music producers should release lo-fi instrumentals, is that there's a lot of opportunity for sync licensing. Sync licensing is pitching your music for TV shows, movies, films, commercials, working with brands, YouTubers, and filmmakers. And I think that there's a lot of potential for lo-fi instrumentals to grow and gain even more popularity in sync licensing. I've worked pretty extensively in sync, and I place all different types of music, but my lo-fi music is stuff that I place all the time. It's been placed in background scores for ads and documentaries and TV shows. And it's been used a lot in content creation, right? There's a lot of gamers and live streamers and vloggers who have used my lo-fi music. And I think that's something awesome. And I've also had corporate use, like companies using my music in training videos, presentations, virtual events, etc. And releasing lo-fi instrumentals has not only built my catalog and created traditional revenue streams, whether that be like master royalties or publishing, but it also opens doors to other revenue streams like sync placements. All right. Another thing that I really like about creating lo-fi music is that lo-fi music attracts a diverse and global audience. I create music that is universally appealing because there's no lyrics, so there's no language barrier. Anybody from any country can listen to and understand my lo-fi music and understand the emotion I'm trying to convey. Right? But on top of that, I can also expand my audience with fellow producers. I've been able to collaborate with a lot of people from the shared interest in lo-fi. And something that I think would shock a lot of music producers is that I've actually created a lot of music that is outside of the lo-fi genre because of people discovering me through my lo-fi music. I've produced rap songs for artists because they heard my lo-fi music and liked those beats. I have worked on music for sync licensing with people in a variety of genres, like the cinematic orchestral stuff that I named before. And that stuff, the reason I initially connected with that producer was because we both created lo-fi instrumental music, right? And on top of that, it's also allowed me to connect with a lot of content creators, right? There's a lot of YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and filmmakers who I've been able to connect with because they were looking for lo-fi music. And since then, I've made a lot of different music for them or been a part of different projects and all of that stuff. And it's also allowed me to help establish a stronger online presence and helping me grow my fan base both in and out of lo-fi. And the last reason that I think producers should release lo-fi instrumental music is that it's a creative outlet with endless experimentation. Right? I think a lot of music producers have this never-ending chase when it comes to records. Right? They're always chasing an artist to give them a chance to listen to their beat, to hear them. And the artist might make a song on your beat and it still might not come out, right? You have no control over your output and your outlet for music, right? Like you can make 1,000 songs with other artists as a producer, but if they don't release these songs, then the world never hears them. And when I'm building a business in music, building a career in music, I really want to make sure that I have some things that are in my control. And releasing instrumental music is something that is in my control. And it's also allowed me to explore a lot of creative ideas, experimenting with vintage synths, live instruments, etc. And lo-fi specifically allows me to genre fuse and allow me to mix lo-fi with jazz or boom bap, hip hop elements, ambient music, synthwave music, etc. It allows me to really have a diverse exploration of styles of music and really experiment and explore sound. And as a music producer, that's really grown my skills. You know, and it also has really helped me grow a personal brand as well. Releasing my own music of any style, but in my case, it was lo-fi music, has helped me build a brand of, you know, people who trust my opinion when it comes to creativity, and people who respect what I have to say when it comes to building a career in music, and people who are interested in connecting with me because of some of the music I've created and some of the content I've created around this music. You know, and I get a lot of freedom to create an instrumental music, which I think is an excellent thing, both as a creative outlet and also as building a career in the music business. Having that freedom is massive, you know. And I believe that releasing lo-fi instrumental music isn't just a trend. I've released hundreds of tracks over my years, and I believe that it's a sustainable way for producers to grow their career. There's just a lot of different things ranging from the accessibility of it, to the high streaming potential, to sync opportunities, creative freedom, while reaching that global audience. And I think that this is something a lot of producers should do. Whether you're established or just starting out, I think this should be a pillar of your career that you consider exploring. It can be very valuable and really can open up a lot of ideas and just create a certain level of freedom and control that I don't think most producers experience in their career. Those are some of the reasons why I think producers should release lo-fi instrumental music. Hope you guys enjoy listening.